The flight controls undergoing a final systems check as they moved the yokes through their full range of motion. The conversations on the intercom were terse and professional, focused on checklists and procedures. The weight of the mission and the lives depending on their speed and precision hanging in the air. They reached the hold short line for runway 21, a 10,000-foot-long strip of concrete that stretched out into the darkness. The crew performed the before takeoff checklist with methodical care, confirming flap setting at 20 degrees for takeoff, stabilizer trim set, flight instruments cross-checked and aligned, pressurization system set for a planned cruise altitude of 36,000 feet, and all engine indicators in the green. Air traffic control cleared them for takeoff. Air Force 7189, wind 290 at 12, cleared for takeoff runway 21. Captain Chen acknowledged the clearance with a crisp cleared for takeoff. 7189, her hand resting on the throttles alongside Major Strickland's, a standard procedure for high-stress takeoffs. With a nod from Strickland, both pilots pushed the four thrust levers fully forward to the stops, the engines responding with an immediate, thunderous surge of power, the noise inside the cockpit becoming a physical force. Pressed back into their seats by the acceleration, the aircraft began its roll. The runway lights blurring into streaks of white on either side, the airspeed indicator began to come alive, the needle swinging steadily rightwards. 80 knots, Chen called out, her eyes darting between the airspeed indicator and the runway ahead. Thrust set, Strickland confirmed, his hands now on the yoke, feeling for any drift or control issue. V1, Chen announced, the decision speed beyond which the takeoff must be continued. The aircraft was now committed to flight. A few seconds later, rotate, she called, her voice steady. Strickland pulled back smoothly on the yoke. The nose gear lifting off the pavement, followed moments later by the main gear, the shuddering of the runway replaced by the smooth surge of climb. Positive rate, Chen stated, and Strickland commanded, gear up. MSGT Kowalski, from his station in the cargo bay, moved the gear handle to the up position, the landing gear wells groaning as the massive struts and wheels folded and locked into place. The aircraft continued to climb steeply, its powerful engines eating up the dark sky, the lights of the base falling away rapidly below them. After takeoff checklist, Strickland said, their workload now transitioning from the intense focus of the takeoff to the managed flow of the climb out. They were airborne, a lone C-17 on an emergency mission, a testament to American air power and global reach, its course set for a distant and dangerous land. Its cargo bay silent for now but soon to be a place of urgent medical care and sanctuary. The entire sequence from brake release to wheels up having taken less than 45 seconds, a demonstration of the C-17's remarkable short-field takeoff performance, a capability that made it the perfect aircraft for such a high-stakes, time-sensitive mission into harm's way. The aircraft climbed through 10,000 feet, its navigation lights blinking in the empty night sky, beginning the long journey east. A United States Air Force Boeing C-17 Globemaster III, tail number 07-7189, assigned to the 437th Airlift Wing out of Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina, initiated engine start procedures at 23:47 hours Zulu time on a tense, moonlit evening. Its four Pratt & Whitney F-117 PW100 turbofan engines, each producing 40,440 pounds of thrust, spooling to life with a low, resonant whine that quickly built into a deafening roar that echoed across the largely silent flight line. The aircraft's distinctive T-tail standing 55 feet, 1 inch tall against the backdrop of hangars and support equipment, the entire airframe, with a wingspan of 169 feet, 6 inches and a length of 174 feet, shuddering slightly as the engines reached stable idle. The flight crew, consisting of Aircraft Commander Major John Reed Strickland, a 12-year veteran with over 3,500 hours in the type, pilot Captain Sarah Jinx Chen, a rising star in the Mobility Air Forces with 1,200 hours, and Loadmaster Master Sergeant Frank Boomer Kowalski, a grizzled, seen-and-all-career airman with 22 years of service and countless combat missions under his belt, running through their final checks with a focused, professional urgency that betrayed the gravity of their unscheduled tasking. The mission, received just 90 minutes prior via secure transmission from the 18th Air Force Command at Scott Air Force Base, was designated as an emergency/aeromedical evacuation (AE) mission, its destination a forward operating location in a classified country within the Middle East, its purpose to rapidly evacuate a team of civilian contractors and 2 Department of Defense intelligence personnel who had been critically injured during an indirect fire attack on a remote compound. The situation on the ground deteriorating rapidly with threats of further attacks, necessitating a swift and capable response that only the C-17, with its massive payload capacity of 170,900 pounds, its ability to land on short, austere runways as short as 3,500 feet, and its renowned medical evacuation configuration potential, could provide. The aircraft itself, 07-7189, was a workhorse of the fleet, having rolled off the Boeing production line in Long Beach, California, in 2008, its airframe having accumulated over 15,000 flight hours across countless global missions, from dropping paratroopers in exercises over Europe to delivering pallets of humanitarian aid to disaster zones. In the Pacific, its gray paint scheme bearing the subtle scars of service. Scratches near the cargo ramp from countless vehicle loadings, minor paint chips from flying through sandstorms, and the faint outline of removed unit markings from previous deployments. The crew had been pulled from their ready alert status, having been on a 24-hour standby rotation, and were briefed in a secure vault where intelligence officers outlined the extreme sensitivity of the personnel they were retrieving and the high-threat environment of the landing zone, the need for absolute radio discipline and a minimal ground time emphasized repeatedly. The aircraft had been pre-positioned and loaded in a state of heightened security, with a full defensive systems check performed, including the AN/ALE-47 countermeasures dispensing system and the AN/AAR-54 missile warning system, designed to detect and defeat incoming infrared surface-to-air threats. The cargo load, meticulously planned and overseen by MSGT Kowalski, was a mix of mission-essential elements. 2 specially configured ISU-90s, intermodal storage units, acting as mobile medical treatment stations, each equipped with ventilators, monitors, and surgical supplies, a pallet of additional blood products and pharmaceuticals, a second pallet containing secure communications equipment and cryptographic materials for the onboard sensitive compartmented information facility, SCIF. And a third pallet with security equipment for the 5-person Air Force Security Forces team that would be accompanying the flight to provide perimeter defense during the ground loading operation at the destination. The entire load, weighing approximately 60,000 pounds, was securely strapped down using 25,000-pound capacity cargo rails and chains, its center of gravity carefully calculated by Captain Chen to ensure optimal flight characteristics. The medical crew, a team of 6 from the 43rd Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, had arrived simultaneously with the aircrew, their commander, Lieutenant Colonel Maria Flores, coordinating immediately with MSGT Kowalski on the final layout of the litters that would soon hold the critically wounded. The C-17's cavernous 88-foot long by 18-foot wide by 12 4-foot-high cargo bay was in the process of being transformed from a cargo hauler into a flying intensive care unit, with up to 36 litter stations capable of being configured, though this mission would require far fewer, allowing for more space and equipment for each patient. The rear ramp was already down, its massive hydraulics hissing softly, creating a gaping maw that led into the illuminated belly of the aircraft, a beacon of hope in the dark night. The pre-flight inspections were conducted with an accelerated yet thorough pace, Major Strickland and Captain Chen walking around the 174-foot-long aircraft, their flashlight beams playing over the robust landing gear with its 20 wheels, checking for any signs of fluid leaks, structural damage, or foreign object debris, while inside, MSGT Kowalski and his assistant loadmaster, Senior Airman Zoe Miller, verified the security of every strap, the functionality of the cargo rail system, and the emergency equipment, including fire extinguishers and oxygen bottles. The flight deck, accessed by a ladder from the cargo compartment, was a symphony of avionics, dominated by 4 large multifunction displays, MFDs, and 2 head-up displays, HUDs, all part of the Rockwell Collins digital glass cockpit that gave the C-17 its advanced fly-by-wire capabilities. The pilots began their flow, switching on avionics masters, initializing the inertial navigation system, INS, and GPS, and programming the flight management computer, FMC. With the initial route, a closely held series of waypoints that would take them across the Atlantic, over southern Europe, and into the contested airspace of the Middle East, the aircraft was equipped with a full suite of defensive and offensive navigation tools, including the AN/AQ-24, Directional Infrared Countermeasures, DIRCM, system and the ability to conduct tactical departures and arrivals to avoid potential threats. The weather forecaster had briefed them on en route challenges. Some clear air turbulence over the Mediterranean and the possibility of dust storms at the destination, reducing visibility to less than a mile, a routine challenge for the C-17's all-weather capabilities. The engines were run up to full power one by one, the roar intensifying to an earth-shaking crescendo as the flight crew and ground crew communicated via headsets, performing final checks on engine parameters, flight control surface movement, and hydraulic system pressure. The yellow shirt crew chief gave a final salute to the cockpit, signaling that all ground equipment was clear and the aircraft was released for flight. Major Strickland returned the salute and advanced the throttle slightly, the massive machine beginning to creep forward, turning onto the taxiway under the guidance of the dim blue lights that snaked towards the active runway. The inertial mass of the nearly 400,000-pound aircraft, with a maximum takeoff weight of 585,000 pounds, was palpable as they taxied, the nose wheel steering responsive under Strickland's hands.